Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Southwest.
The Rangers have proven a royal pain for Kansas City in this series. Texas starters have baffled KC's big bats, while the bullpen boys have been even better. The offense has leaned on massive feats of strength and exploited moments of the sweetest opportunity. Let's go ahead, kick off your shoes and relax while the Rangers look to keep pouring it on at home. Welcome to Rangers Baseball presented by AT&T. Really, probably the nicest day we have had this year. A gorgeous Sunday afternoon as we prepare for the final game in our four-game series, the Royals and the Rangers. It has been a wild first three. Elvis Andrus, one of the heroes last night, getting ready for today's action here at Globe Life Park. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond with Mr. Ranger Tom Grieve. And this series has really been defined, at least to this point, Tom, by the way this Rangers pitching staff has handled things.
You're right, Dave, and Jeff Bannister said it today in the media briefing. Success starts with your pitching, and the Ranger pitching in this series has been terrific. Starts with the starters. Andrew Kashner in the first start, Cole Hamels in the second, Nick Martinez last night, and then you certainly can't forget the bullpen. 7 shutout innings in the opener. Nick Martinez last night in the spot start was just terrific. So the starting pitching has been terrific. The Royals offense has been anemic. Only 4 extra base hits, and the Ranger pitchers have held them to a 154 average. They came in cold. The Ranger pitchers have made sure they've stayed that way.
You know, the other thing we were wondering about was how would the Rangers' power trend stack up against the way the Royals have handled home run balls this year?
They came into this series having given up as a staff only 8 home runs. What's happened in this series? The Rangers have hit 5. In fact, 6 of their 9 runs have scored by way of the home run. So the home run has worked for the Rangers.
Interesting to see if that will continue today. And a good pitching matchup today. Yu Darvish taking the hill for the Rangers. Jason Hamill has the ball for Kansas City.
Last night we saw Ian Kennedy. Jason Hamill is a very similar type pitcher. Good solid fastball, reaches the low to mid-90s. He's also got a really good downward breaking curveball, which is a lot like Ian Kennedy last night. He's coming off an excellent start against the Giants. 6 innings, he only gave up 1 earned run, and has been the case for the Royal starters, not much in the way of support. For the Rangers, Yu Darvish was terrific against Oakland through 5, but he walked the leadoff hitter, which led to problems in the 6th. For the season, it's been pretty typical. A batting average against below 200, a strikeout per inning. The one difference has been too many walks. Yu's walked 12 in 24 innings. I know he wants to improve on that.
And of course, all of this and the talk today coming in was about Elvis Andrus. He's batting cleanup today.
Well, I thought Jeff Bannister showed a lot of respect to Elvis last night. With Rugi on second and nobody out, many times in the past I think they would have asked Elvis to bunt the run over. But because Elvis has been one of the most successful Ranger hitters early in the season, he let him swing away, and Elvis ended it with that nice base hit to left field.
Yeah, the second walk-off of the first 3 games of this series. And for Elvis Andrus, 5th time he had delivered like this in the clutch. Rangers have been rolling in the series and a chance to wrap up a very good 4 games today against KC. Rangers Baseball is brought to you by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, a spectacular afternoon here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Very little wind and comfy temperatures, sunshine aplenty. Final game of this 4-game series. My Rangers starting pitching has been great so far. They send their ace, Yu Darvish, this afternoon. And for more on that, we check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, Dave, much of the talk coming into this series was about the Kansas City Royals starting pitching, but really the Rangers starting pitching has trumped the Royals thus far in this series, giving up just 3 runs so far through 3 games. And when you look at what the starting pitching has been able to do, especially considering the fact that we went 13 in that opener, really set up the bullpen nicely. Jeff Bannister talked about it, the fact that his guys have run into situations where they're most comfortable in the bullpen, and that's a result of what the starting pitching has been able to do thus far. They say hitting can be contagious. The same can be said too for pitching, Dave.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, we'll see what Yu Darvish has to offer this afternoon. He has got a nice challenge to step up to today as we take a look at the Kansas City Royals starting lineup. Now 7 wins and 10 losses. For the first time this year, the Royals have somebody other than Alex Gordon in the leadoff spot. Whit Merrifield, their second baseman, up there at the top. And Jorge Bonifacio made his big league debut here Friday. He slots in the 3-hole. Brandon Moss, the one guy who has done some real damage against Yu Darvish in his career. He'll be batting 8 in right field.
We look at the arsenal for Yu Darvish. Starts with his 4-seam fastball. Throws that 33% of the time. He'll throw a lot of cut fastballs. I think when he's at the top of his game, his strikeout pitch is probably his slider. Also mixes in a sinking fastball and a curveball. Different kinds of curveballs. He'll throw a really slow curveball, and then he'll throw one that breaks a little sharper, throws it a little bit harder. And I think a lot depends how the game is going and what's working for him, and he'll settle into probably a fewer amount of pitches, the ones that are working best at the time.
Now, he's made steady improvement in each of his first 3 starts so far this year. And I say improvement mostly in the percentage of pitches that are strikes. And that continues to increase game by game for him as he squares off against Whit Merrifield. And he misses on the first 2.
Yeah, and I would think that you would be coming out extremely focused today. He had to be disappointed in his last start in Oakland. So good through 5. The Rangers got him a 2-run lead, and then it just didn't happen for him in the 6th inning. But you can pretty much trace it back to that leadoff walk that set the tone of the 6th inning. Got behind Adam Rosales, hung a slider, hit a home run, another double in the gap, a walk, and bang, before you know it, Yu was gone from the game. And I went through a little over 50 pitches through 5 innings, and then way over 20 pitches to get 1 out in the 6th.
Comes back with a couple of beauties here. Gets some corner calls from Eric Cooper, our plate umpire. That will even things up here at 2-2. Merrifield, though it's typically Alex Gordon's spot, this is where he has spent the better part of his career hitting, up at the top of the order. And bloops this one foul out of play. Count stays 2-2. Merrifield hitting .333, but that's in limited at bats. 5 for 15. Does have a home run. And in those limited plate appearances so far is getting on base at a better than .400 clip. Darvish is 2-2. And a bouncer third base. Played by Gallo, and he has handled it very well down there. Takes care of Merrifield, 1 away. Well, today's Rangers defense delivered to you by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yeah, it's kind of fitting that we would be talking about the defense right when Joey Gallo makes another nice play at third base. He's been so solid. Everybody talks about the power, but he's been solid defensively behind the plate, getting the start. Robinson Chirinos, and when you talk about a good solid catcher, you talk about Robinson Chirinos. He has the talent to be a regular catcher. Right now he's the backup to Jonathan Lucroy, but in the game 2 games ago, he did a terrific job catching Cole Hamels, blocked a number of balls in the dirt with a man on third base and less than 2 outs. The Rangers are lucky to have both of their catchers.
Bouncer back of first base, and Rua feeds Darvish, 2 out.
Another thing that Hughes talked about, Dave, is wanting to get outs early in the count. Cole Hamels talks about that all the time. And for you, that's certainly a way to keep the pitch count down and pitch deeper into ball games. And we've highlighted the luxury that the Rangers have. 2 aces at the top of the rotation, Darvish and Hamels. And when you've got those kind of pitchers, you want them on the mound as long as they can stay out there. So any way that they can limit their pitch count and add an extra out, extra inning over the course of 162 games is a huge thing.
Well, he gets 2 pretty quick outs here, and now Jorge Bonifacio, just his 2nd big league game, and he fouls off strike 1. Bonifacio was 0 for 3 on Friday, called up from AAA Omaha and made his big league debut, and now draws a pretty challenging assignment in his 2nd big league game, batting in the heart of the order and facing Yu Darvish. But he is a hitter first. Did he go around on the appeal? Yes, he did. Adrian Johnson down at first brings him up.
That's an excellent 2-seam fastball. Had all the components of a successful pitch. Velocity 94, really good movement, and excellent location right at the bottom of the strike zone. Yeah, I guess if you're Bonifacio, you say the big leagues is pretty tough. You get Cole Hamels one day and Yu Darvish the next in your first 2 games.
1-2 the count. Now you're talking about the 2 aces, the luxury that the Rangers have in having 2 aces, and Bonifacio would probably line up right behind you and say, yeah, that's a pretty good situation they've got. That is a grinder of a way to start a guy's big league career.
Sure is.
1-2 from Darvish. And a little tapper foul.
And you look at the numbers, different numbers for both pitchers. Darvish, I love this one. 11.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. The highest in Major League history for any starting pitcher with over 500 innings pitched. And for Cole, something he prides himself on. 7 straight years with 200 innings or more. You've got durable guys with good stuff. Top of the rotation. Nice to have that luxury.
Bonifacio battling here with Darvish. Stays alive 1-2.
Give him some credit. He fouled off a good slider and then followed up by fouling off a good high fastball. Couple of good swings.
23 years old and the younger brother of Emilio Bonifacio, who is a speedster, a slap hitter, use all fields. And Jorge kind of came up that way, but they've tried to tap into his power a little more in recent years. And he shoots this one out to right field, a base hit.
Now that is a pretty good at bat. First time you've seen Yu Darvish. You guys, that kind of a strikeout pitcher, young hitter, seeing him for the first time, saw his good stuff and still got a base hit to right field. This is a pretty good slider. See it coming out of Yu's hand. You see the spin down and away, and Bonifacio serves it out to right field with 2 strikes. Pretty nice job of hitting.
A guy who is batting third, and as we mentioned, the Royals have in recent years tried to get him to buy in a little more to the pull side and try and hit for power. Seems like he kind of reverted back to his more natural abilities and swing right there, and coming up with a base hit now. Eric Hosmer and a bouncer to second base. Odor is right there for it, makes for a quick and easy out and ends the top of the first inning. So Darvish puts up a goose egg right out of the gate. starting lineup for the Rangers, and now at 8-10. The big story today, right there, Elvis Andrus batting cleanup for the first time in his big league career. He has hit just about everywhere else in the lineup, but today the cleanup man, Ryan Rua, in there at first base, batting 6th. Robinson Chirinos catching and batting 8th. Big night last night for Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, he had a couple of ropes up the middle on first pitch fastballs, and then for good measure added a bouncer between second and third. 3 hits last night raised his average considerably.
Jason Hamill has the start for Kansas City and goes right after Gomez with strike 1. Hamill, big guy, 6'6", 225 pounds. Veteran pitcher. He's been around a little bit. In fact, for Hamill now, this is his 6th major league organization the last 12 years. And a bouncer toward first. Hosmer has to come way off to grab it. Underhands it to Hamill covering, and Gomez is out for the first out of the inning.
Take a look at the Royals defense. They got a few changes. Whit Merrifield was in right field yesterday. He's back to second base today. Jorge Bonifacio gets the start in center field. Lorenzo Cain has the day off, and for the second straight day, Salvador Perez is not in the lineup. Drew Butera, their very capable backup catcher, will start behind the plate. Chesler Cuthbert is over at third base. A little bit of a different look for the defense from Kansas City, which through the first few weeks of the season has certainly been one of their strengths.
First pitch to Chu, and he serves it out into left field, base hit. So the Rangers get a hit in their half of the first inning as well. This one coming with just 1 out.
Hamill's coming in with a first pitch fastball, and Chu waiting for it. Fastball in the outside corner, tailing away from him. And that's Shin-Su's game, using the whole field, getting that fastball the other way. Gradually, you'll start to see players whose averages have been hovering a little bit below 200 creep up to 200 and take off from there. Gomez had 3 hits last night. Chu, even though he came into the game hitting .216, still came into the game because of his patience at the plate with a .355 on base percentage. That's below his career average, but much better than you would expect from someone hitting .216.
Now Nomar Mazara, and Nomar tied for 10th in the American League with 4 home runs. And though he hasn't driven in a run in quite some time now, still leads the American League with 17 RBIs. Average has dipped down to .260 for him. Hamill with the long pause, and this one turned foul. 1-1 the count. Mazara, when we start talking about guys getting days off here and there, we saw Elvis Andrus take a day off on Friday. Today Mike Napoli gets some rest and is out of the lineup. Jonathan Lucroy. Well, Mazara is the one guy who continues to show up day after day. He's played every day, been batting 3rd, playing a lot of right field. Check in on Chu, but he is back in there easily. Chu yesterday was caught stealing in the 3rd inning. Had a feel much more of a pickoff, but it was a caught stealing. Leads again in the 1-1, way up high. Ball 2 to Mazara. Well, the talk coming in was how great this Kansas City rotation has been this year, and they have been very good. And really in this series, despite the fact the Rangers have taken all 3 of the first games, it's not as if the starting pitching has really let them down. The 2-1 is very, I was gonna say very high, but a called strike. 2-2 to Mazara.
Yeah, I think if you're a Kansas City starter right now, you do your best to block this out of your mind, but I don't think you can help going out there thinking you got to do everything you can to limit the other team and try to keep them as close to scoreless as you can and just hope you can get a couple of runs. They've just had a terrible time, not scoring 3 or 4 runs, but scoring any runs.
We went scoreless to the 13th inning in the opening game of the series, to give you some idea of what we're talking about.
And yesterday, Ian Kennedy was terrific. He pitched 7 innings. The only run he gave up was Mike Napoli's opposite field home run. But he had great stuff, pitched a nice ball game.
Zara pushes this one over short, long run. Escobar, and he can't get there. That's a base hit. Back-to-back singles. Rangers trying to build something in the first.
Well, that would have been a highlight reel play if he could have made this. Tried to reach for it. He couldn't reach for it with his glove. So on the sprint, kind of like a wide receiver going for a touchdown pass, he reaches out with his bare hand. Went a long way in a short amount of time and couldn't quite get there. Well, that breaks an 0 for 19 for Nomar, so even though it wasn't a stinging line drive, it nevertheless ends a streak that you're happy to see go by the wayside.
You almost have to think that that's the way it was going to end.
Yeah,
something like that.
Well, as a hitter, you're pretty happy with it. You're fine with it.
Andrews fouls off strike 1. Smile on his face today. Elvis, the cleanup man for the Rangers, first time in his big league career.
Well, I think early in the season, if you had to pick a Ranger or 2 to have at the plate with men in scoring position, Elvis would be one of your guys. So here he is batting 4th in the game, and right off the bat he comes up with a couple of men on. And Danny was saying in the press briefing, look, when you go to put your lineup together, you're not looking for someone like Babe Ruth necessarily to hit 4th every day, especially if you don't have that. And he's got some guys getting a rest today, and when he looked at his lineup, he's trying to put it together in a way that prevents matchup benefits to the other team, and Elvis fit in this spot. Looks like a good decision right now, whether he gets a hit or not. Have him up there in a situation you're happy to have him in. This was last night against Peter Moreland. Man on second, nobody out, battling in the count. Moreland with a really good sidearm sinker. That was a slider, not a bad pitch. And with 2 strikes, Elvis is just trying to put it in play. And, you know, even though he was out in front of that pitch, he still hit that ball pretty hard. Hit it right off the good part of the bat. Line drive all the way to the wall in left field on a few bounces.
This one fouled off, doing some good battle here with Jason Hamill. Andrews hit .275 coming in. 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, but 4 doubles, a triple. Very good numbers overall for him.
I'm sure one of the things that goes into it with Mazzara and Odor in the lineup and 4 lefties in the bullpen for Kansas City to spread them up for late in the game, so you can't bring in a lefty to face both of those guys back to back. If you want to bring in a lefty to face Nomar, the next hitter you're going to face is Elvis, who traditionally has done very well against left-handed pitching. Then after Rougned, you've got a right-hand hitter, Ryan Rua, and then a lefty, Joey Gallo. So it's one of the things managers like to do is split it out the best you can, right-handed hitters and left-hand hitters.
Andrews strikes out swinging, 2 away in the first inning. Well, it didn't work out that time up, but we'll see if he comes up with more opportunities a little later. Here is Rougned Odor.
I think the only way you can look at that is you're happy with the way Elvis is swinging the bat right now, and you batted him 4th, so you're happy he got the chance to hit with 2 men on. You're right, didn't work out that at bat, but it doesn't mean you're not pleased with the matchup to begin with. Pitcher has a little bit to say about that. Jason Hamill has been a solid pitcher. Mentioned earlier that he's gone 15-10 last year, 3.83 ERA, 30 starts for the Cubs. One of the key components to a great rotation that the Cubs featured last year.
Odor fouls off strike one. Well, it was a breakthrough year for Hamill last year. It was far and away career best in those 15 wins. 5 more than he had previously accomplished in his career. And one of the guys who just got off to a ridiculous start. Had a sub-1 earned run average, like 4 starts into the year. Last year is this one very high and in, 1-1 to Odor. So he was signed to a 2-year deal this offseason by Kansas City. I mentioned earlier his 6th big league club. He's pitched for Tampa Bay, the Rockies, the Orioles, the A's, and in the last 3 years with the Chicago Cubs. This ball bounced just fouled on the first base line. 1-2 on Odor. So they figured he would be a pretty good and important addition to their rotation this year. Dayton Moore, their general manager, has done just such an incredible job in Kansas City this year in spring training, said this is the best rotation any Royals team that he has presided over has had. He felt really good about this rotation coming in, and they have performed very well. Odor pulls another one foul.
I saw Danny Duffy, one of the really bright young lefties in the league in the first start. Ian Kennedy was excellent last night. Rangers got to Nathan Carnes, but he's had pretty good stuff so far this year. And the one guy they don't face is Jason Vargas. He's 3-0 in 3 starts.
Yeah, 3-0.
0.44 ERA.
Yeah.
The Rangers missed him.
1-2. And Odor strikes out swinging, and that will end the inning. Couple of hits for the Rangers, but they leave him out there. And we'll go to the second, no score. Four-game series, and we take a look at our power stats today, brought to you by Kubota. Yu Darvish. Yeah, April has been a very good month for Darvish in his career. Yeah, that's a significant number of starts. We're talking 20 starts and a 2.5 earned run average. A lot of success early in the season for Darvish. And he put up a scoreless first inning. Now Cheslor Cuthbert will start the second and takes ball 1. Cuthbert playing in just his 9th game, a 150 average. 2-0. Royals searching right now to find some solution for their offensive woes. It has been a really rather dramatic struggle for them. Cuthbert pops this one up behind home plate and heading up into the stands. Royals have just 44 runs scored coming into today's game. Okay, 44 runs scored. Well, how does that compare to the rest of the world? Not favorably. Let's just put it that way.
Less than 3 runs per game.
It is the lowest amount of runs of any team in all of Major League Baseball, and by pretty good margin. This one popped foul out of play, and it's 2-2.
You know, that can change at any time, but at the same point in time, one thing we've seen through 3 games in this series is a lot of Royals hitters going up and hitting early in the count and not necessarily getting good pitches to hit, but putting poorly located pitches, for a hitter anyway, in play, which means you're probably not going to hit them very hard, and the result has been a lot of easy outs. I think the last out of the first inning is an example of that. Eric Hosmer, first pitch hitting, hit a sinker down a little bit out of the strike zone. A lot of movement in the batter's box on that breaking ball. Guy had a swarm of bees coming at him.
First strikeout of the day for Darvish.
See the grip on that breaking ball as it starts at the shoulder. Cuthbert's getting out of the way. Unfortunately, came back and hit the plate. I don't blame a hitter for reacting like that. You see that ball looks like it's coming right at your shoulder, right at your chin, and all of a sudden it takes a turn as far as the hitter's concerned for the worst.
Now Alex Gordon, who today is batting 6th. He's been the leadoff man for the first 17 games of the year. Looks like he would debate the merit of that last pitch with Eric Cooper, but takes a strike. 176 average. And he's in a hole 0-2. So with a slow start for him, he drops in the order.
Yeah, we're talking about first pitch hitting, and you know, Hosmer to end that inning. He's a good hitter, don't get me wrong, and he was terrific in the World Baseball Classic. He's off to a bad start. When you press, you get over anxious, and he kind of played right into Yu's hands. He hit a low sinker, sinking out of the strike zone, and just popped a weak ground ball to second base.
This is a fairly deep fly ball to center, but Gomez is there. 2 away in the second inning.
Yeah, the Royals, several of the balls that they have hit hard, and there haven't been a lot of them, but have been hit pretty well to center field, but that's about where they've ended up, right near the warning track.
Last year, the Royals went 81-81, and it was a tough year for them. Injuries, the big story last year for Kansas City, but they weren't very disciplined, to your point, at the plate. Fewest walks in Major League Baseball last year. A number of guys who are maybe a tad over aggressive, and it's a similar story again this year. As a pitch to Alcides Escobar is taken for strike 1. And only 2 teams right now with fewer walks than Kansas City, the Chicago White Sox, who have also struggled mightily offensively this year. 1-1 the count. Darvish with a 1 strikeout 2 starts ago, and you made mention of this, Tom. This is the second time that Chirinos has caught Darvish. The last time was 2 starts ago in Anaheim, and he went 7 innings. He struck out 10 in that one.
I think one of the benefits of having 2 catchers the caliber of Jonathan Lucroy and Robinson Chirinos, one of the benefits is when the starting catcher gets a day off, whoever the starting pitcher is that day doesn't feel like there's a letdown. He steps in with Robinson Chirinos and says to himself, good, I got a frontline catcher right here. So no matter who's catching on any given day, I'm sure that's the way the pitching staff looks at it. I don't prefer one over the other because both of them are solid.
2-2 now on Escobar. Yeah? Caught Hamels 2 nights ago. Excellent performance from Cole. He went 8 innings, allowed a run on 3 hits. Today catching Darvish. And it's a full count on Escobar. Catching Darvish one of the greater challenges too for a catcher, just because he has so many offerings and his stuff at times can be so good. It's a lot of movement, and misses outside to Escobar. First walk he is issued today.
Not an easy guy to walk. Escobar has only walked twice this year. He's known for, if anything, being over anxious at the plate. But he worked a 2-out walk there. And as hard as it's been for the Royals to score, Escobar does have pretty good speed, and he would definitely, against you, be a threat to try to steal.
Well, here's Brandon Moss, and the numbers aren't very good for Moss. You can say that about a lot of players in this Royals lineup, but he has had success against Darvish in his career. And he takes strike one. Moss with a better than .300 average against Darvish, but with 4 home runs in 23 at bats against him. A guy who does have considerable power. It's 1-1. Moss with just 2 home runs this year and 3 RBIs. But one of those guys too, you know, so many power hitters now have that ability, though they strike out quite a bit, some of them pretty good at drawing walks, and Moss has done a decent job of that this year. 7 walks so far. To check in on Escobar. No score, second inning. Good shift on the infield against Brandon Moss. Runner going, and there's a swing and a bouncer, first base side, but foul. So it's 1-2. Now, teams have run well on Darvish, and Escobar was looking for that opportunity, took off running, but Moss brings it back to first base. I think if Moss lets that go, it seemed as if Escobar had a good enough jump that he would have been safe.
I think he did. Yeah, Escobar's a guy that probably going to steal around 20 bases with a good percentage. That's what he's done throughout his career.
Now bouncing ball up the middle. Andrews flips it to Gallo, covering the bag at second, and it ends the inning. So the Royals strand another man. We'll go to the bottom of the second, 1.5 in. This afternoon, we want to tell you, do not miss the Toadies post-game concert here Saturday, April 29th. Rangers and Angels at 6:15, and then after the game rather, is the show presented by Budweiser. So go to TexasRangers.com/concerts get your tickets for the game and see how you can come see the Toadies in concert on the field. Ryan Rua leads off the second. Rua, Gallo, and Chirino, 6, 7, and 8. Hamill seemed to offer a breaking ball. The count 0-2.
That's been a good pitch for him early in the game. Big breaking curveball. A little bit of a hesitation. First time through the order. That's been a tough pitch for the Ranger hitters. Fastball has been about 92, lower 90s, combined with that curveball. Gotten him a couple of strikeouts so far.
There's 1-2 to Rua, and that one is off the plate. Evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hamill throws a lot of fastballs up. Tries to get guys to chase up there. And then his out pitch usually is that curveball or the changeup, and there's that one in there for strike 3 called. Rua strikes out to start the second.
And 7, third baseman, number 13.
All right, this afternoon's TXU Energy Power Player to watch. Well, it's a lot of them. Rangers have 7 players with 3 or more home runs this year. The only team in baseball with 7. In fact, I don't think there's anybody else with more than 5. Gallo certainly one of them. Leads the team with 5 home runs. And he takes a strike. Joey hitting .207, has 13 RBIs now. There's been a good bit of time yesterday talking about the length, the majesty of a lot of his home runs, because when he hits them, you know it.
I remember the Rangers played an exhibition game in spring training in Las Vegas several years ago. Joey was in the lower minor leagues, but he was called up to the big league team for that trip to Las Vegas for obvious reasons. That's where he's from. And he was launching him in batting practice, and then in the game, you couldn't tell where the ball went. Kind of a minor league park, but it went so far over that fence, I have no idea where it ended up. But you got a pretty good look at that power at a very young age. I think when you listen to other players who have played with him in the minor leagues, they all have stories about where he's hit balls throughout his minor league career, and making a pretty good story with his 5 home runs early in the season this year, where some of them have gone.
I went after that fastball upstairs, a full count now.
Look at the one the other day, 461 or 2 feet, 116 miles per hour off the bat. Then the one in Oakland that went way up on the batter's eye in dead center field.
Take strike 3 call. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts for Hamill.
The curveball is a force for him early in the ballgame. 4 strikeouts, and that's the main contributor. Got enough fastball to balance off, keeping the hitters to look for the curveball.
Hey, every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon weekdays from 8:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central, only on FS1. Here's Chirinos, and he turns away from strike 1. 375 average, 3 home runs. Yeah, how about that? 8 RBIs in 6 games. He has been busy when he has been in there. Goes after that one in the count, 0-2 on Chirinos. So Hamill gave up back-to-back singles to Chu and Mazzara in the first inning. Then he struck out Elvis Andrus, Rougned Odor, Rua, and Gallo in order. This is there. It's 1-2. Hamill, a guy who can be dominating first time through the order. Opposing hitters bat just 180 against him first time through. 2-2 the count. But after that, things get a little tougher for Hamill. So it's not atypical to see this, where he'll set down opposing hitters pretty rapidly in the early stages of the game. Just off the plate, it's a full count.
Well, he will have a relatively high pitch count at the end of 2 innings. Somewhat high right now. This will be his 37th pitch without getting the third out yet in the 2nd inning.
He struck out 4 in a row, and his 3-2 pitch to Chirinos in the dirt. So he walks Chirinos, and that'll get Profar to the plate in the 2nd inning.
Well, he tried to get Robinson to chase that curveball that's been so successful for him, especially to the previous 4 hitters, but Robinson laid off it. And it's not that big a deal to get a 1 runner with 2 outs, but it's going to force him to throw more pitches, probably get him up over 40 pitches in the 1st inning.
So Chirinos on base, 3 base runners already against Hamill. Profar at the left side, and first pitch. I want to appeal on that check swing, but a little late asking for it, and Tim Woodring says he did not go. Profar on a tough little stretch right now. Fouls one back, and the count is 1-1. He is hitless in his last 13 at bats, despite the fact that he has found a way, some walks and whatnot, to somewhat consistently make his way down to first base. The hits have not been coming for him. Chirinos at first. The 20th pitch of the inning is a swing and a miss. So Hamill used 20 pitches in the first. He's 20 pitches deep here in the 2nd. Not much of a lead at first. Profar swings, hits this ball well out to right field. Moss goes back and has room just as he dips into the shade, and that one ends the inning. So Rangers leave another man, and we'll go to the 3rd in a scoreless game.
AT&T high-speed replay. We'll show the early goings with Yu Darvish getting a number of ground balls and keeping his pitch count down. 4 of the first 6 outs have been balls hit on the ground. And a very nice pitch count. Tidy job so far for Yu Darvish. He's walked the batter, given up a hit. That's our AT&T high-speed replay.
So a nice job so far. A couple of scoreless for Darvish. And now Drew Butera will start things in the 3rd inning. 9th place hitter for Kansas City. Butera at .231 for the year. And starting the 2nd game in a row for Kansas City, and that's a bit unusual. Normally Salvador Perez, if he takes a day off, he's right back in the next day. But we did learn yesterday it was lower back soreness. It had him out of the lineup yesterday, so we suspect that the day game today they felt like let's just give him a little more time. 1-1. After Butera back to the top of the order for Kansas City. Darvish has allowed the 1 hit and the 1 walk so far. Breaking ball fouled off.
Dave, I want to send a shout out to Raul Longoria. Raul is the father-in-law of our official scorekeeper today, Steve Weller, recovering in Cleburne, Texas. Raul is a big Ranger fan, and Raul Longoria, we appreciate that very much. Steve Weller, your son-in-law, sends his best.
Get well soon. 1-2 pitch. And there's a swing and a miss. 2nd strikeout for Yu Darvish. Time now for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson. Okay, yeah, thanks, Dana. 1 out here, top of the order for Whit Merrifield, and a breaking ball finds the inside corner for a strike.
Pretty good strike to ball ratio, 27 strikes, 11 balls for you.
Another swing and a miss, count 0-2. Yeah, that's a number that seems to be getting better with each start. The strike percentage for Darvish. We got Merrifield to ground out in the 1st inning, bouncing ball to 3rd base. In fact, there's only been 1 out in the air so far this afternoon. And a weak tapper toward 3rd. Gallo charges, bare hands, and a nice dig at first by Rua.
Very nice play all the way around. 3rd baseman has to decide, can I catch it in my glove and have time to transfer it to my throwing hand, or do I need to barehand it? Ball's hit right off the end of the bat. Joey barehands it. The throw is low, but great concentration on the part of Ryan Rua at 1st base. Knows he's going to have to pick this ball. Not an easy thing to do. It looks easy in slow motion. And he stays with it, keeps his foot on the bag, and ends up being a nice play.
Boy, it's those hops that sometimes are in between. That one was a nice long hop for him. Still.
Do you want a real short one or a real long one? The in-between hop is the one that really is tough.
Now Moustakas, and he fouls off strike 1. That might be part of the story that we have not talked about enough in this series. We've seen the home runs for the Rangers at times. The pitching has been great, both from the starters and from the bullpen. The defense, though, has quietly been very steady in this series. This ball hit well down the right field line, heading toward the corner, and it is gone. Mike Moustakas with a solo home run. It gives Kansas City their first lead this afternoon.
Kansas City's had a hard time scoring. They don't have a lot of home run threats in the lineup, but certainly Moustakas is one of them. It looks like a cut fastball that was inside, but maybe not quite as far inside as you wanted it. Nevertheless, Moustakas still did a nice job getting the barrel of the bat on that ball. A couple of years ago, Moustakas hit 22 home runs. Last year, he was hurt most of the year. He had a collision with Alex Gordon, the left fielder, and tore his ACL and missed most of the season, only had 100 at bats. A couple of years ago, it was 22 home runs and 82 knocked in.
And off to an even better start this year. That's his 6th of the year. This ball hit well, high in the air left field, and Profar looking up. That one is gone. Back-to-back homers off Yu Darvish, and Kansas City on top 2-0.
Bonifacio had a nice at bat the first time up. Saw everything out over the plate. He was able to kind of dive into a pitch and slap it into right field. A nice slider down and away. This time looked like a breaking ball that he hit. Let's take a look. There's the strike zone, and there's a hanging breaking ball right in the center square. Bonifacio jumped on it, hit it all the way over the seats in left field. So a cut fastball and a hanging breaking ball, back-to-back home runs. Moustakas and Bonifacio.
First big league hit for Bonifacio. And Eric Hosmer takes strike one. Rangers fan must have gotten control of that ball out there because they threw it back onto the field. Mike Jerschley down in the third base coach's box made it very clear to the ball girl, hey, we need that over here in the dugout. A souvenir for Bonifacio, and now Darvish trying to dial it back into Hosmer and jumps ahead 0-2. Hosmer grounded out to second base in the first inning. And it was the first pitch he saw from Darvish, and kind of goes along with that narrative of the aggressive hitters that the Royals have, and an approach that they have employed now for several years. It kind of worked for them a couple years ago when they won the World Series. I remember that being a big part of the conversation, was that they were turning everything on its head. No, we'll just slap singles all over the place. It's not worked for them the last year and change now. Darvish with the long look in. And then Hosmer bounces it up the middle, base hit.
Yeah, all this happening with 2 outs. Struck out Butera and a couple of good fastballs. Got Merrifield to hit a breaking ball right off the end of the bat for a little ground ball out. Then ran into some problems. Moustakas, Bonifacio, now Hosmer all have reached 2 home runs and a single.
So Chesler Cuthbert, who struck out looking in the second inning. And he was the one who took that slider, and his body was going all over the place trying to get out of the way of it. A nasty pitch from Darvish as he not too concerned with Hosmer. Comes right after Cuthbert. This is low. Well, for the first time in this 4-game series, Kansas City works with the lead. Back-to-back home runs. That one finds inside corner. That was interesting because it looked like Chirinos was asking for that one away. Somewhat obviously reaching to the outside, but it came back toward the inside part of the plate.
Trying to throw this one in. Let's see if he gets it in there.
Pops it up. Odor going out. And he'll make the play. So the inning is over. But back-to-back homers by Moustakas and Bonifacio. Kansas City has the 2-0 lead. Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. It has been the week of huge home runs all around Major League Baseball. 6 home runs over 450 feet since Monday. No doubt Giancarlo Stanton part of that with the week he has had. The Oakland A's on quite the run. They've won 5 straight and been putting up some crooked numbers offensively. Now, bottom of the 3rd inning, top of the order here is Carlos Gomez. Leads it off. He grounded out in the 1st inning. And falls behind 0-2. Hamill allowed a couple of hits and 1 walk. First time through the order. And Gomez swings and misses. 5th strikeout today for Hamill.
Well, he has his curveball working today, and he has not been afraid to use it. He's probably thrown as many curveballs as fastballs. It's his 5th strikeout in the season. In several starts, he only had 9 strikeouts coming into the game. Got 5 in this game. Hasn't fared quite as well, Dave, after he's been through the lineup once. So we'll see what happens for the Rangers the 2nd time through the lineup. He's off to a pretty good start the 2nd time through the lineup with those curveballs that he featured to Gomez.
Pumps in a strike to Chu. And Chu had the base hit back in the 1st. Nobody on base. Hamill works with pretty good tempo. His curveball fouled off. Tall right-hander. And his 0-2 pitch, that one is outside. And the curveball has been his weapon today. He's shown the fastball a little here and there, but typically not in the zone a whole lot with it, and runs this one tight. It's 2-2. Next pitch to Chu is low and inside, so it's a full count. Now, you mentioned it earlier. Chu's been doing a great job despite the low average of finding his way to first base. He snapped an 0-for-11 stretch last night with a base hit. It was 1 for 13 of the last 5 games, but had walked 6 times. And he stays alive here. Remains 3-2. Has kept the on-base percentage up over 350 coming in. And Chu making that adjustment to being the everyday DH, or mostly everyday DH. Payoff pitch, and he'll work another one. Well, this will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and I mentioned it, the last 2 innings, 20 or more pitches the first 2 frames, and Hamill using a few bullets here to chew, and this one is shot back up the middle.
I'll say it was.
Chu's 2 for 2.
Shin-Soo gradually getting his swing together, and generally what he does when he's been struggling is he tries to hit the ball towards second base and shortstop to stay with the pitch, and so far in this game he's lined one right back through the middle, right there, and earlier lined one to left field. 2 solidly hit balls. In addition to the 2 base hits, he's seen a lot of pitches in both of those at bats as well.
So another base runner, and now Mazara. He had a single in the first inning as well. And he shanks this one foul. Mazara's base hit in the first inning was a little bloop out over short. Really interesting effort made by Escobar to get to the ball and trying to barehand it. It broke a long hitless streak, and 0 for 19 for Nomar. Toss over there. Make sure Chu's not getting too far off the bag. Here's Escobar. Hard worker, the Iron Man at shortstop. You see a couple of guys getting a day off today, like Lorenzo Cain and Salvador Perez, but not Escobar. This ball popped high in the air, foul behind the plate. Butera thought he might have a play, but that one went 5 rows deep. Escobar, the Iron Man, he has played 162 games in 2 of the last 3 seasons for Kansas City, so he didn't want a day off. Another double play depth on the infield with Mazara winning on an 0-2. 2 with a decent lead. Not going though. That's ball 1. All right, fastballs since last year. Can't really go inside on him.
Yeah, one of the things we've seen is pitchers tend to try to throw fastballs up and in, and that chart would seem to indicate that that's a good thing to do. The 205 average on the quadrant up and in.
It's this ball a mile, but foul. And it's 1-2.
And that's where that pitch was. It's kind of one of the oldest baseball cliches. If you want to get a hitter out, throwing fastballs up and in and breaking balls down and away. There's that upper part of the quadrant. That one was off the plate a little bit, so that's even a tougher pitch for a hitter in there.
Mostly hard stuff so far to Mazara in this at bat. No time asked for and granted. The damage today from Hamill has come with that curveball. That's where he's been getting the swings and misses. Runner going, and Mazara puts it on the ground. Merrifield is there, gets Mazara, but Chu stays out of the double play and in fact is now in scoring position. Well, let's head down to the field with Emily Jones.
Yeah, progressive fan of the Game Time with Sophia Darty. I saw a sea of white shirts overtaking the left field line. I headed out here to find out what it was. It's the Sewell Picnic, and I chose this girl because, let's be honest, those are the cutest pigtails I've ever seen. Sophia Darty, our progressive fan of the game. Can you give us a Go Rangers, Sophia?
Go Rangers!
Do it loud.
Go Rangers!
That's what I'm talking about, guys.
All right. Great choice. Nicely done. True out there at second base now, and here's Elvis Andrus, and he hits this ball sharply foul. Well, Tom, you said it first time through. When Andrus came up, had a couple of men on, one in scoring position. That's great. That's what you want with your cleanup man.
Yeah, I think if you were say before the game, you want Elvis to get a chance to hit with men in scoring position. You'd be very happy with what's happened with him batting out of the fourth spot today. Both times up, he's come up with a man on second base.
Down low, 1-1 to Andrus.
Now, Hamels has thrown a lot of pitches. This will be his 60th pitch, but his strike to ball ratio is pretty solid, almost 2-to-1. What's happened is the Rangers have not put a lot of balls in play early in counts. They've seen a lot of pitches, and even though he's thrown a lot of strikes, a lot of the balls put in play have been with 2 strikes with high counts. Curveball's been tough for the Rangers so far.
Now 1-2 on Andrus now. 3 hits, 1 walk, and Hamill is struck out 5. A minimum of 20 pitches per inning. It's 2-2. Well, Andrus comes in. How about this one? People are thinking it's different, maybe a little odd to see him in that cleanup spot. We mentioned it earlier. It is first time he's ever batted there. Comes in with a .789 on base plus slugging. The average cleanup hitter in Major League Baseball, .744.
Wow.
So, at least to this point of the season, and this is only the 19th game of the year for the Rangers, he's outperforming the average cleanup guy. Yeah. Profiles real well. And he takes one outside. It's a full count.
Combination of Elvis's OPS is pretty solid, and there's probably a number of fourth place hitters around the league who are off to slow starts. Another 3-2 pitch, another 6 or 7 pitch at bat at least.
Now this is the 4th full count this afternoon for Hamill, which is to say nothing of the 2 strike counts he's had. He's gone very deep all afternoon. Works with a 2-0 lead in the payoff pitch to Andrus. This one is over second into right field, base hit. 2 around third, he'll score, and it's a 1-run game. So Andrus delivers the RBI out of that cleanup spot.
Well, you'll take 1 for 2 all day long with men in scoring position. Elvis has had 2 chances, and he cashed in with 1 of them. And what he did is he worked the count and got the fastball, belt high to a little bit higher fastball, and roped it into right center field. Laid off the tough curveballs when he had to, and got the fastball that he wanted and took advantage of it.
Just the 6th RBI this year for Elvis, but a big one. It brings up Odor at first. Check in on the good speed. Yeah, Andrus might be the quickest cleanup hitter in the game, at least today. 4 steals and 5 attempts. Odor 0 for 1, and the pitch to him. He'll pop this one back behind home plate.
We had a note earlier that you go back to the beginning of September last year. As of few days ago and take the amount of extra base hits in Major League Baseball, and Elvis was in the top 10 over the last month of last season, the first couple of weeks of this season. So you don't necessarily think of Elvis as a cleanup hitter, but based on his recent sample, 100, 150 at bats, he has shown a lot more power.
Another foul back behind the plate.
And early in the season, he's had 3 home runs already. So he's certainly a little bit closer to what you would think of as a 4th place hitter right now than at any other time in his career. And when you combine the ability to put the ball in play and hit with men in scoring position, not a bad choice.
Well, he was goofing around at the clubhouse today when the media were asking him questions about batting cleanup. He said, well, if I had a home run today, I certainly would expect to be batting cleanup again tomorrow. Odor pops this one up near second base. A lot of bodies there, but it will be Escobar who puts it away, and that ends the inning. But the Rangers get on the board. Andrews drives one in. It's a 2-1 game. Two to 1 as we go to the 4th inning. Our next Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night will be this Wednesday. Rangers wrapping up a series against the Twins. Coming out to Globe Life Park and enjoy ballpark hot dogs for just $1 each. Go to TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS for your tickets. So 3 runs combined have scored in these first 3 innings. We'll have to catch our breath as we go to the 4th inning, and Alex Gordon takes one low. The opening game Thursday night went scoreless to the 13th. Rangers won it 1-0. They won 6-2 on Friday. And then last night, a walk-off 2-1 victory as Gordon takes another strike. And it's 1-1. Darvish got Gordon to fly out to center field in the 2nd. Strike 2.
Excellent movement on that last pitch. It looked like it was headed to the middle of the plate and just darted to the outside corner. One of the things that makes you so tough to hit is the movement on that fastball, 2-seam fastball.
That one runs a little too far in. 2-2 the count. Does he? I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but he's got such a wide arsenal of pitches, and he throws, he throws with great velocity. His stuff moves so sharply. Is there anybody he reminds you of that maybe you used to play with?
No. I think he's a unique pitcher in that respect.
A swing and a miss, so he strikes out Gordon. 1 out in the 4th inning.
I know there's been pitchers with a wide assortment of pitches, but I don't know of anybody that's had the same assortment of pitches that Darvish has. And there's a good look at a breaking ball, curve ball down. And I think the other thing that gives him the variety is he has a number of different pitches, but he throws them in different ways, speed-wise. Hard curve ball, slow curve ball. He takes a little bit off here. The one thing I haven't seen today is in most of his starts, a lot of times with 2 strikes, he'll pop a little bit extra with his fastball, 96, 97 miles an hour. I haven't seen that little extra today. There's his pitch arsenal. A lot of sliders, a lot of cutters.
2-0 the count to Alcides Escobar, who he walked in the 2nd inning. And you said after he walked, tough guy to walk.
Yeah, only his 3rd walk of the year, but he's usually a very free swinger. A lot of early in the count outs, as a matter of fact. Only hitting under 200 right now.
Two-0 pitch, and that one right down the middle.
And generally, that would be a pitch he's swinging at, but he was taking all the way right there. Probably today trying to make an effort to see more pitches.
Darvish, this will be his 60th pitch. And it's inside, 3-1. Well, to your point on Escobar, now a little run now of 2+ years in which his on-base percentage is roughly .290. It's including this year and the last 2 seasons. That's a very low number. That's at least 30 points below league average. 3-1 and the bouncing ball second base. And right there is Odor. A little bobble, and he's able to get it over to first in time and get Escobar 2 away.
If you look at the last 4 years, Escobar's averaged somewhere around 22, 23 walks a season. And that's for a guy that's playing every day and getting over 600 at bats. So that's a very small amount of walks. And if you're going to be any kind of an on-base percentage guy and you're walking that little, then you better be hitting in the high 290s or low 300s. Otherwise, it's tough to be a top of the order guy. There was a time where Escobar was leading off and they were playing great. And a sabermetrician might have looked at it and said, wow, how in the world is this guy leading off? His on-base percentage doesn't warrant it. And I think Ned Yost's answer was, well, this lineup seems to be scoring a lot of runs, and I just don't want to change it. He may not be statistically the guy to hit there, but based on the way the rest of the lineup is working, I'm going to stick with it. They had a couple pretty good years. Not that he was the leadoff hitter all the time, but frequently he was.
Big curveball in there to Moss, and it's 0-2. Darvish with 3 strikeouts this afternoon. They have a back-to-back home runs in the 3rd inning, and Kansas City leading 2-1. Is 0-2. And Moss stays alive. Well, the average has dropped to 140 today for Brandon Moss. He'll get on via that fielder's choice in the 2nd inning. And what a struggle it has been for him and for so many in this lineup today. The 0-2 pitch. And he swings and misses strike 3. So 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Yu Darvish. And it's his first perfect inning of the day. Big right-hander, maybe finding his groove as we head to the bottom of the 4th. fourth inning, and Fox Sports supports proud to team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved as a volunteer or a participant at the upcoming Girls on the Run 5K on April 29th in Dallas. Just check it out at the website, gotrdfw.org. As we go to the bottom of the fourth inning, Ryan Rua leading it off, takes the ball. Rua, Gallo, and Chirinos in this fourth inning. And it is 2-0. Rua getting the start at first base today. We'll see him get starts in left field as well, but Mike Napoli taking the day off. And it's 2-1. Hamill, the pitch count now up to 70 with that one right there. Bounces up ball 3. And he has only walked one batter, but has logged a lot of pitches. Gave up a run last inning. He was worked around the 1 walk and 4 hits for the most part today. And that one is tight, ball 4. He puts Rua on for free to start the 4th inning.
Yeah, I think anytime you cram this many pitches, 71 pitches into 3 innings, you have to be starting to get a little bit tired. It's one thing to throw 71 pitches over 5 or 6 innings. He's jammed a lot of pitches into a short period of time and really didn't come close on a lot of those pitches to Ryan. He's thrown a lot of good curveballs. The Rangers have started to lay off it a little bit. One's out of the strike zone. See if they can get a little rally going right here.
Now Joey Gallo has at times on this homestand been a rally all to himself. He's hitting 300 on this homestand with a couple of home runs and a double. Walked once. He did strike out in the 2nd inning though. Rua with the lead. He's going, and the pitch is high. The throw to second is also high, and Ryan Rua has a steal of second.
He had a nice jump. Hamill takes a little bit of time to get that ball to the plate. Ryan was gone. Ryan, for a strong kid, has also got pretty good speed. He's a good base runner. Good jump, no contest at second base. So now that leadoff walk turns into a leadoff double, essentially.
Now 1-0 to Gallo, and Gallo hammers this ball high and deep, but foul.
Just needed to wait a split second longer. Off speed pitch, a little bit out in front of it. Not quite like the one he hit the other day that went in that same direction, only in the upper deck, to a spot in this stadium that until that moment had probably never received a foul ball.
Two and one. Oh, chance to drive in a big run right here.
Boy, Hamill's not coming close right now.
Oh, he was all over the map on Rua, and now 3-1 to Gallo.
All these pitches are earlier in the game when he was missing, they were around the plate. Now they're way off the plate. 75 pitches, nobody out in the 4th. No one warming up in the bullpen right now, but that'll change if Gallo is walked right here.
And he hits him on the foot. So Gallo goes to first.
Would have been walked.
Man.
Well, he did not want to throw Joey a fastball in a hitter's count. Even after walking Ryan on a 3-1 pitch, he throws a breaking ball, but it wasn't close enough to get Joey to swing at it. Would have been ball 4. Turns out to be a hit by pitch.
That stinks. You got first base wrapped up as it is. you gotta take a blow off the leg or the foot. On a couple of base runners.
That's one. So, you know, sometimes you wonder if a guy actually just stayed there and let the ball hit him to get on base. That's not an example of that, because if he jumped out of the way, he would have gotten on first base anyway.
Chirinos offered. And strike one.
Got some action in the bullpen now. Lefty getting up and warming up pretty quickly down there.
That's Scott Alexander. Corners in with Chirinos up there. One 0, and he'll bunt it foul.
Kansas City had the wheel play on right there. That's the play where the first baseman charges, the third baseman charges, the pitcher takes the middle, and they want you to bunt, feeling that if you do, they'll get the force out at third base where the shortstop has gone over to cover. Don't do it too often, because the thing that the hitter can do is, instead of bunting, you just kind of slap the ball on the ground and have the whole field to find a base hit.
Runs have been precious in this series. The time granted to Butera, catcher, and has for it right about the time Hamill was going to begin his delivery. Well, Chirinos had the big night yesterday, or rather 2 days ago, in the lineup today. He walked his first time up. Pulls it back, and it's fouled out of play. So 1-2 the count on Chirinos.
And that's why they didn't put the wheel play on again, because that's how you counteract it. Didn't make any contact, and they didn't have the wheel play on, so there was a person at every position. But when everybody charges and the second baseman goes to first, the shortstop goes to third, there's no one left except the pitcher in the middle of the field. If you can hit a ground ball, it's an automatic hit.
Now the 1-2. That one got Chirinos on the hand. And he's heading down to first base. That looked like it got a piece of everybody. Bodies were scattering everywhere.
I don't know that it's been called a hit by pitch yet, though, has it?
It depends on whether or not he was swinging. Well, it also depends on exactly where it hit him. It hit him on the wrist.
Yeah, that definitely looked like it hit him on the wrist. He definitely didn't swing at it either. Robinson has a history of being hit like that. And he's not going to react like that if it didn't hit him.
Well, they're going to get everybody together to talk this one over.
A lot of times on that kind of a play, it'll hit the knob of the bat. And a lot of times when you look at the replay, you really can't tell. I think this one, you're going to be able to see it, at least based on what we saw. Let's take another look at it. Make sure we saw it right. Yeah, it's hard to tell on that one.
This will be the angle here.
It sure looked like it hit his wrist. The question the umpire might have is, did it also hit the knob of the bat? But it doesn't look like. That looks like wrist to me.
Well, I wouldn't imagine that this would take too terribly long for them to examine back in New York. He was hit, and the bases are loaded.
Well, we finally saw one the right way. But that one was pretty obvious. It hit below the knob of the bat. And the question is more concerning on whether it hit him or not. It's whether he's okay.
Give a good firm handshake there, the good grip, and at least for the moment satisfies everybody, and he'll stay in the game. I think the other question that comes up now is, if you're Kansas City, based on what you've seen from Jason Hamill in this fourth inning, how comfortable are you letting him go very much further here?
I wouldn't be very comfortable. Not after the first two guys for sure. Now he's hit a guy. Now, Robinson last year had a lengthy disabled list stint. He had a fractured right forearm when he was hit by a pitch, and I would be surprised it was almost in the same spot that one hit. A little bit of history with that kind of a hit by pitch.
There's ball one to Profar, batting ninth. He flied out in the second inning. So 0 for 1, but a walk and back-to-back hit batters. Bases loaded in the fourth. Hamill finding his command a bit. And Helen way out there.
He's pretty much officially out of gas right here, it would look like anyway, based on the location of these pitches. Most of the pitches that are missing are well out of the strike zone, including two well out of the strike zone that ended up hitting Joey and Robinson. That's what happens when you package this many pitches in a short period of time. You have to get tired.
2-0. Didn't miss by much. Well, Kansas City got it started. Back-to-back homers in the third. First and only time they've led in this entire four-game series. Profar takes ball 4. That ties the game. And here comes Ned Yost. That does it for Jason Hamill. A walk, 2 hit batsmen, and then the walk to Profar. Bases loaded for Scott Alexander coming in out of the bullpen for Kansas City. And Kansas City into their bullpen, so a short afternoon for Jason Hamill. Hey, a Coca-Cola family pack offers savings of over 30% on tickets, food, kids zone access, souvenir programs, and Coke soft drinks. Great way to come see the games. Rangers and Twins Monday through Wednesday. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials to get your Coca-Cola family pack today. All right, Scott Alexander making his 4th appearance out of the pen for Kansas City.
Yep, they've gone pretty well so far for him. Nice ERA, great opponent's batting average, only 158. But he's in a pretty tough situation right here. Tie game early in the game, but still a tie game, bases loaded, nobody out. Looking for that big hit right here. Set the stage with a couple of walks and a couple of hit by pitches.
Gomez with a bouncer short. They get the one, and that's it, but another run comes in. And so for the first time today, the Rangers lead.
That's a little bit of a break for the Rangers. That looked like an automatic double play ball. Carlos runs pretty well, but still, even though it was a high chopper, it looked like a play that they would turn 2 on. Turned out that wasn't the case. One thing that helps when you're on first base like Jurickson was, get down there as fast as you can and try to disrupt the pivot man. Looked like he did enough of that to where Merrifield chose not to get rid of the ball.
Well, a big break, because now even a fly ball somewhere in the outfield would get another run home.
Right.
Chu is 2 for 2 today. Takes a strike, because both those hits came off the right-hander Hamill, now dealing with the left-hander Alexander here. Can't quite close the book on Hamill yet. Not a real pretty line. Hamill allowed the 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 5, hit 2. Now, at least for the moment, has allowed 3 runs. Bouncer up the middle. Escobar has it. He'll get the 1. Throw to first, and he gets the double play. So that ends the inning. Rangers get a pair out of it, however, and send us to the 5th inning. Rangers lead by 1. Affairs with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. 3-2 Rangers lead. To the top of the 5th inning. Boy, what a beautiful day today. Lots of sunshine, comfortable temps, and maybe the least amount of wind we have had for a whole game this year. Darvish out for a 5th inning. Yeah, kind of calm. Here's Butera. He struck out in the 3rd inning, 0 for 1. Darvish has retired 4 in a row. He did get nicked up for a couple of home runs in the 3rd inning. The Rangers have scored 3 unanswered to get back in front. One and one on Butera, who comes in with a .231 average today. Limited at bats early in the season for him. He's in a hole 1 and 2. Darvish has had to work a little bit today as well. He's closing in on 70 pitches. Did Butera go? No. Drew Butera just had Sal, former big league catcher. We see Sal every now and then. Seems like I used to always bump in him in the National League in Milwaukee.
Did you? I've seen him in our ballpark, but not recently.
High fly ball left. A lot of sunshine out there, but Profar takes care of it.
It looked like Carlos was worried about Jurickson. Maybe because of the sun. He came sprinting over in case Jurickson needed some help. But Jurickson had it gauged. Looked like it drifted a little bit towards center field. Watch Carlos is playing way over. He's in right center field. And he sees the ball go up, and now he starts sprinting just in case Jurickson needs some help. But Jurickson stays with it, makes a simple catch.
So to the top of the order now, Whit Merrifield. Twice he has rolled out to third. This time, Gallo with a diving catch on the little pop-up. How about that?
That ball, I'd like to see the speed of that ball off the bat. I don't think you can hit a ball slower off the bat than that one. That's got to be, we've seen Joey Gallo hit the hardest ball off the bat. That has to be the slowest one. That's even slow for a chip shot. That ball went about 70 feet. Joey Gallo had time to take 7 or 8 steps to dive for it. You kind of like that one. What do you call that? Like a half a pop-up?
Yeah, right.
It's not a line drive. No. It's not a pop-up. It's.
Oh, this is interesting. I got a number for you.
That might be low enough to where it didn't register.
Curveball to Moustakas.
What is like low? 60? 50? I don't even know what it is.
We had a bunt the other day. Adam Rosales laid down a bunt. You remember this in Oakland? And I think the exit velocity was like 51.
51?
Which was.
I don't
was
think
that he bunted it so hard.
I don't think that could be much more than that. Maybe 60.
They don't. This one doesn't even register. I'm looking at the feed we normally get, and there's no register. They're calling it a line out, but
that's being very generous.
Yeah. There's no
if you're the
exit
hitter,
velocity.
The hitter say, man, yeah, I hit a couple balls today. Got nice line drive to third base. Gallo made a diving play, robbed me of a hit. You know, technically he did rob him of a hit because if he doesn't catch it, it's a base hit.
2-strike pitch. Ooh, Moustakas.
That came up
smart.
And hit him. I don't know if players are like this anymore, but if you hit a ball like that 50 years ago, 40 years ago, and came back into the dugout, you'd have guys laughing, saying, hey, did you get all that one? Their guys bring over ice to put your hand in it to ice down your thumbs. I don't know, players might not be that cruel anymore, but that was baseball humor in the old days.
I think there's still a lot of that goes on. Now Moustakas fouls this one back, so the count stays 0-2. He had the first of back-to-back home runs in the third inning for Kansas City. And for Moustakas, his 6th of the year. Darvish working with the 1-run lead. And he gets Moustakas swinging, and it's another perfect inning. 7 straight retired by Yu Darvish. Well, halfway to the house this afternoon. Little defense behind Yu Darvish. 12-step sprint to get to that line out to third. inning in a one-run game. And Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. Can't catch your games on TV? You can always stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by Hyundai. So to the last of the fifth inning now, and Mazara will lead things off. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the fifth inning. Rangers got a run in the third, 2 in the fourth inning. But Scott Alexander, who's out there again, came into a bases loaded, nobody out jam at the end of that fourth inning. And on 3 pitches, got out of it with relative ease.
Yeah, that's about all you could possibly expect. I guess you hope a guy can get out of bases loaded, no outs with no run scoring. And that's about as nice a job as you can do.
Now it goes 2-1 to Mazara.
I know Jason Hamill probably appreciated it. 3 runners on the pond when he left, and none of them, only one of them scored.
Alexander last worked 5 days ago against the Giants. Pardon me, we saw him a couple of days ago. Yeah, he pitched in this series. What am I saying? Yeah, he pitched 1 inning. And it's a full count. Yeah, he went an inning on Friday night behind Nathan Carnes and Matt Strom. They've got a nice complement of left-handers in their bullpen with Alexander, Strom, Travis Wood, Mike Minor. Mazara with a bouncer to the left side. Cuthbert was right in front of it though, and his throw, though high, is in time to get Mazara. So with 1 away, we check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, today's State Farm winning combination is the cleanup hitter, Elvis Andrus. And the winning combination for Elvis today, be in that cleanup spot, but not try to do too much. Not try to hit home runs. And it worked for him as he got his first RBI of this game in that cleanup spot to get the Rangers on the board. Had a funny conversation, a group of reporters talking to Elvis today, and as they were talking to him about not hitting home runs or not trying too hard to hit home runs, Jeff Bannister poked in and said, so what happens if you do hit a home run and then tomorrow you're not in the cleanup spot? And he looked at Banny and smiled and said, it'll be okay as long as I'm in the lineup.
Oh, he's done a nice job today. Drove in the run on the third. First time in today's game that he's come up with nobody on base. Been a great start to the 2017 season for Elvis. Big offseason as well. Became engaged. And he's expecting not too distant future here, just a couple of months. 1-2 the count on Andrus. Left-hander's pitch. That one hooked over third, but foul.
A lot like the ball he hit last night. Reached out for one, down and away. Last night, he was able to keep it fair inside the foul line, rolled all the way to the wall. Off-speed pitch down and away. Actually, just down. But he hooked that one.
This time asked for time. And we'll reset. Alexander, second pitcher of the day for Kansas City, and his 1-2 evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is just the beginning of a long homestand for the Rangers. And again, with one of these odd 4-game series, you don't see him a lot anymore. Bouncer, shortstop. Escobar with time, and there are 2 away. Well, the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark on Sunday, April 30th, will receive a Rangers duffel bag courtesy of Powerade. Rangers will be taking on the Los Angeles Angels at a 2:05 game, and you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. Two-away. Alexander's done a nice job at the fielder's choice, the double play, and now a couple of ground balls to start this 5th inning. And bumps one in there to Odor. Rougned 0 for 2, struck out in the 1st and popped up in the 3rd inning. He has hits in 5 of his last 7 games. But just a total of 7 hits in the last 13 games. And his average has dropped a little bit. Bouncer over to the right side. Foot race with Alexander, but the pitcher gets there in time. And it completes a 1-2-3 bottom of the 5th. So after 5, it's the Rangers by 1. Go to the top of the 6th inning. Well, this will be the final game in this series. Twins coming to town tomorrow, and AT&T pitching matchup tomorrow. Phil Hughes and Martin Perez. The Twins off to a pretty good start, all things considered, 8-9. Hughes has survived a very high earned run average to this point, to get a couple of victories nonetheless. Yu Darvish, meanwhile, has retired 7 straight. That was the heart of the order in the 6th inning. He starts it with Jorge Bonifacio, who homered in the 3rd. Darvish with 5 strikeouts this afternoon. He's had the one big strikeout game. That was in Los Angeles, when he went 7 shutout against the Angels and punched out 10. But this 5 actually represents the 2nd highest strikeout total this year for him, which is unusual. He normally puts up a lot of strikeouts.
Bonifacio's had a couple of good at-bats. Hit a hanging breaking ball for a home run. Hit a good breaking ball down and away. Lined it into right field for a base hit. First time he's faced Yu Darvish, he's looked pretty good.
1-2 the count.
Yu's going to a little extra for him right here. Hit a home run and a base hit off him. He's seen his best velocity, 94, now 95. Most of Yu's fastballs today have been 91 to 93. A lot of them have been sinkers. A little extra on that one.
Well, this will be his 80th pitch of the day. He's high to Bonifacio. Darvish, his last outing was cut a little short, at least in terms of pitches thrown. He only used 82 pitches in that last outing at Oakland. And things got away from him in the 6th inning. Prior to that, he'd been at 98, 97, and 100 pitches in his first 3 outings. So still plenty of room for him to go another inning, maybe 2 this afternoon. And we don't know. I mean, things may work out in such a way he could even get into the 8th inning. But he's going to have to start getting some quicker outs.
Well, one thing he did the last 3 pitches, 94, 95, 96, all 3 of them on the inside part of the plate. So he's pounded them in with his fastball on all those fastballs, and then goes away a little bit, and you see an entirely different swing.
Set that one up perfectly. 1 away in the 6th inning. We check in on another Chevy game break. Yeah, Dana, they are off to a very good start. 13-6, had a 2-game lead in the division coming into play today. Well, they've been finding ways lately. Of course, Baltimore came in to action today with 12 wins and fewer losses, only 4 losses for the Orioles. Eric Hosmer 1 for 2. Darvish makes it a 1-1 count. Hosmer had the base hit in the 3rd inning. That one followed the 2 home runs by Moustakas and Bonifacio. But since then, nobody has reached base. Fouled out of play, 1-2 the count on Hosmer.
Well, since the home run single back to back in the 3rd inning, Yu has amped it up a little bit. Hasn't been a base runner since then. And 4 of the 6 strikeouts have come after that. Best stuff has been the 5th inning, and now here in the 6th inning. He's amped up his velocity a little bit. That cut fastball in this at bat was 90 miles an hour, sharply in on the fist.
Having a little trouble agreeing with Chirino, so they'll talk it over. Another good crowd here this afternoon. We had a huge crowd last night. 41,446 yesterday. A lot of folks enjoying the sunshine today and a little baseball.
Yeah, if you want to come out and see a ball game and you love day games, this is perfect. It's like going to a game in San Diego. 72 degrees the whole game, not much wind.
Base hit by Hosmer. His 2nd of the day.
Well, Hosmer is not going to hit 185, obviously. And so you hope that he stays cold for the length of this series and do whatever you want after that. Rangers have held him down pretty well this year. He was 1 for 11, 1 for 12 before he got those 2 hits. And last year against the Rangers, he was 3 for 28. When you look at the success the Rangers have had against Kansas City, and one of the reasons why is they've been able to hold one of their best hitters down all last year and first 4 games here.
Now Darvish deals with Cuthbert, who is 0 for 2. Cuthbert last year won the American League rookie batting title, hit .274, also led all American League rookies with 28 doubles. And he rolls one on the ground to 2nd. Odor with a quick flip for 1. The relay in time, double play. That ball wasn't hit sharply, and Odor really had to hustle it to get the turn. Once again, he and Elvis Andrus able to turn the trick. Brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. Today's jackpot worth $1,900 plus dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Today the Rangers are hitting for Bonnie Rhodes of Dallas. So if a Ranger hits a home run, she wins $1,900. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam, she'll walk away with $25,000. As Scott Alexander, continuing to pitch in relief here, goes after Ryan Rua, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Lefty's been pretty good so far. Rua taps it foul. 0-2. Alexander, 6'2", 195 pounds, originally a 6th round pick in 2010, and made his big league debut with the Royals in 2015. Pitched 4 times in relief. Last year was used 17 times in relief by the Royals, but spent the majority of the season at AAA Omaha. Today trying to chew up some innings here in middle relief. Short outing by Jason Hamill, and this one keeps the count 1-2 on Rua. Good Moreland, Minor getting ready in that Kansas City pen. Bouncer at third base, back of the bag. That's a long throw for Cuthbert, and they get Rua. Boy, that's a tough play at first.
Yeah, Hosmer is an excellent first baseman. He's got great movement around the bag, great footwork, good hands, accurate arm. He makes all the plays. Made a nice play last inning on a fairly tough hop and a nice throw to the pitcher. This one he knows the runner's bearing down on first base. To avoid the collision, he catches the ball and then backs off the base. Very smooth around the bag. Boy, that ball came very close to hitting Ryan coming across the bag and almost blocked Hosmer view from seeing the ball.
Gallo lifts one high in the air, deep left field, gone! Sixth of the year for Joey Gallo, and on the first pitch, went the other way with it.
Well, there won't be a lot of balls hit right there by a left-hand hitter. That shows his overall power. Saw him pull the ball 460 feet right down the right field line. That one's probably about 420, 425 to left center field into the bullpen. So they left Scott Alexander in long enough to face Joey Gallo, lefty on lefty, and Joey first pitch hitting went deep again.
Well, happy moment for the Rangers. They add to the lead, in a very happy moment for Bonnie Rhodes, who just made $1,900. Congratulations, Bonnie. Well, that will do it for Alexander. Royals go to the bullpen in a 4-2 game. Ford game summary. Great day at third base defensively for Joey Gallo. But he's more than just a glove man, Tom. You know he can hit.
He got a fastball out over the plate, and he hit this one. He just looked it up, Dave. It's 439 feet to the opposite field. A long way for a left-hand hitter to hit one. I remember when the park first opened up, Juan Gonzalez was playing for the Rangers, and he didn't like the 390 sign in left center field. Didn't think it was fair for that to be the power alley for a right-hand hitter. Wondered how right-hand hitters were ever going to hit a home run. And Jim Thome came in for Cleveland and launched one almost in the exact same spot that Joey hit that ball, and showed that, yeah, you can hit one out of here. You just have to hit it pretty well. And Joey hit that one right out where Jim Thome hit one. Thome was a power hitter, obviously. Hit a bunch of home runs, who walked a lot, also struck out a lot. So, you know, Joey is never going to be a guy that doesn't strike out. But if he continues to be patient, get his walks, and hit the ball out of the ballpark, you can already see 20 games or so into the season how valuable that home run bat can be. One swing of the bat and how it can turn a game around.
Well, he hit that home run, they're saying 439 feet. And off the bat at 111 miles per hour. Pretty impressive. 6 home runs now for Gallo to lead the team and put him right among the top in the American League. 1-2 the count to Robinson Chirinos. And that'll even it up. Well, Peter Moylan is the new pitcher for Kansas City, third pitcher of the day. Side armor from Australia. Been around for a little while now. Stays 2-2. We saw Moylan yesterday not recorded out, gave up a hit. He was the guy who gave up the base hit to Elvis Andrus in the 9th inning, and now the 2-2. Did he go? Yes, according to Adrian Johnson. So 2 away. Moreland gets his strikeout. Close for a little more on Joey Gallo. Let's send it down to Emily Jones.
Well, guys, before game 2 of this series, before he hit those 2 bombs in game 2, Joey Gallo said he had a conversation with Justin Mayshore, just talking about hitting, and Mash told him, look, stop trying to be a 300 hitter and just be who you are. Joey said that caused him to relax. We saw the results in that game 2, and obviously again here in game 4, but basically telling him just to be who he is and not try to be anybody different.
Profile with a little pop-up, and Escobar can't get to it. And so Profar reaches with a gift single in the 6th inning.
Yeah, and the little message that Emily just had, what a good message to deliver to Joey Gallo. It's actually the perfect advice that hitting instructor could give him. Be yourself. What else could you want to do if you're Joey Gallo? Joey's being himself. He's getting a chance to play every day. And the results are there. The effort is there. It's nice that you've got a batting instructor that can hit the right note with those words of wisdom.
Also a base runner out there now for Carlos Gomez. And Moylan drops it in there for a strike. Profar, by the way, with that hit, that puts an end to an 0 for 14 for him. He also had the RBI walk, the bases loaded walk in the 4th inning. Gomez off the 3-hit night yesterday, but has been bottled up so far this afternoon. 0 for 3. Struck out in the 3rd inning. Hit the ball on the ground the other 2 times up. Profar with a little lead. Not going though. 1-2 on Gomez. Royals led briefly today. They scored a couple of runs in the 3rd inning. Rangers came back for 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th to retake the lead. And have added to it here in the 6th inning on the home run by Gallo. Gomez stays alive. I spoke earlier. The Royals also had a lead on Friday. Briefly, they scored at the top of the 1st inning on Friday. The Rangers would come back with 3 runs in the 2nd inning. So there have been a couple of moments where the Royals have led in this series, but they have lost the first 3 and trail in this, the 4th and final game of the series. Profar leaning decidedly towards second. He's moving, and the pickoff throw goes to first, and they will throw him out. That's a caught stealing. 1-3-4, and it ends the inning. But the Rangers add a run. Joey Gallo with his 6th home run of the season, a no-doubter, just to the left of center field. It's 4-2.
Darvish otherwise has pitched very well. Take a look at the home run. Was a breaking ball that stayed in the middle of the plate. Bonifacio launched it over the seats in left field. Then the next time up, he saw different pitches. Saw a couple of 95, 96 mile an hour fastballs on the inside part of the plate, and that set up that cut fastball, swing and a miss for strike 3. So after the home run, Darvish came back with a different assortment of pitches and got the strikeout of Bonifacio. And on the day, he's thrown 88 pitches, 46 fastballs, good assortment of cutters and sliders, and a few curveballs. Several of the curveballs have been to Brandon Moss, a couple of slow curveballs. And the other thing he did, Dave, the last inning is he upped the velocity. He threw mostly 92, 93 earlier in the game. Last inning was 94 to 96.
Sharp won a hopper. Andrews there to backhand it and retires Gordon. 1 out in the 7th inning.
Well, in a lot of days that would have been a base hit up the middle, but in the days of the shift, all it is a routine ground ball to shortstop.
Hey, Texas Tech fans, Fox Sports Southwest wants you to show your school spirit at a Texas Rangers game. Get discounted tickets Friday, May 12th. A's in town. Of course, a limited supply of Raider red and black Rangers caps to be given away as well. TexasRangers.com/Texas Tech for more details. 1 out here, and Alcides Escobar takes a strike. Darvish just hitting the 90-pitch plateau. Takes a while, and now time asked for by Escobar. A 4-2 Rangers advantage. One and one the count. So today's a historic day in the annals of Major League Baseball time. Today was the anniversary of the first home run ever hit by Henry Aaron. How about that? Hit just a few more.
Who do you hit it off
after that? That's a good question. Oh,
See if we had his baseball card.
Yeah, Vic Raschi.
Vic Raschi.
Yeah. 2-1 to Escobar. April 23rd, 1954. It was 20 years later. It would break Babe Ruth's long-standing record. Who had held the record forever with 714 home runs. There's a fly ball to center. And Gomez able to track it down. 2 gone. Darvish really has settled in nicely ever since that 3rd inning, where Moustakas and Bonifacio got him back-to-back. Hosmer followed with a base hit. Since then, just 1 base runner has reached, and then he was erased on a double play. Moss 0 for 2.
Well, you talk about a guy that kind of cruised and then put it in another gear as the game went on. That's Yu Darvish today. He had the 3rd inning where he gave up 3 of the 5 hits, a couple of home runs. But boy, after the 4th inning, the velocity's amped up. The sharpness of the breaking balls is increased. And Kansas City is seeing his best stuff late in the ball game. Trying to finish on a strong note here with Brandon Moss.
And Claudio preparing for the 8th inning. This would likely be it for Darvish. There's 1-1 to Moss. Ball 2. That's on note 2. And I don't know what to make of these, Tom. You would have a lot more to say, I'm sure, but Darvish in day games, right? 14-6 with a 264 earned run average. Better numbers than he has when he pitches at night. And I saw the same, kind of the inverse for Hamill. Hamill does not pitch well during day games. Did not have his best outing today. Is there something to that?
I don't know.
Can you make anything of that?
I don't know. I think my guess is if you asked each pitcher, the first thing they would say is, "Huh, that's interesting. Right. I didn't know that." But is there something about Yu Darvish that he prefers the day games and Cole the opposite? I don't know. You know, it's a fairly good sample. It's not like it's 1 or 2 games. It's a number of games. But I don't know. I would have to ask them if there's anything about that.
30th time. 30th day game start for him.
That's a lot of games.
Two from Darvish, and he got him swinging.
A curveball. They amped it up to 96, but he ends his outing probably with a 70-mile-an-hour slow curveball and a strikeout.
Completes a perfect inning for Darvish, and they'll stand and stretch here. Time for us to hand it over to Chuck Morgan as we celebrate God Bless America.
Gentlemen, will you please rise and direct your attention to the area behind home plate and welcome Phoebe Dawson. In honor of all the veterans who have served our country and the servicemen and women who are currently stationed at home and around the world, Phoebe Dawson will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairie, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Under attention, ladies, coming into the pitch for Kansas City, number 26, Mike Minor. Mike Minor, number 26, now pitching for Kansas City. Heading off for the Rangers, the center fielder, Carlos Gomez.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dana. 4-2 here.
Yeah, and after that play, Padres had no problem with it.
Hard hit ball left field for Gomez to start the bottom of the 7th inning. All right, well, kind of dovetailing off of Dana's report, our showstopper today, Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, last year's MVP. Boy, you talk about a great player. Tremendous outfielder. He runs well. He went earlier 128 plate appearances. Go back to last year and earlier this year without striking out. He's had a lot of success against the Orioles. 351 since 2016, and big day for him today. Big day for the Red Sox in Baltimore. They win 6-2.
Mike Minor is the new pitcher. This is his 8th relief appearance for Kansas City. Comes in a 4-2 game. It's 1-1 on Chu. So Moylan recorded a couple of outs in the 6th inning and kept it pretty clean. And now it's up to Minor. This ball fouled back out of play. Minor, the 4th pitcher of the day. Second left-hander called upon out of that bullpen. Chu's had a nice afternoon, though. Couple of hits in 3 tries. Rangers have plated 4 runs on 7 hits today, no errors. They've left 5 men on base. Kansas City 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors. They have stranded 3. 2 runs today for Kansas City matches a series high for them. Just to give you a little idea of how hard it has been for them to score runs. Checking again on Gomez, who's yet to steal a base yet this year. Figure that's coming. A little better move that time. Infield a double play depth. And Chu takes strike 3. Now I'm looking, that's the second time that's happened in the last 2 days. You see that a lot from Chu. One away though. Reminder, first 15,000 fans to the ballpark on Saturday, April 29th. We'll take home an Adrian Beltre Dancing Legs bobble, courtesy of Medical City Healthcare. Rangers and Angels, 6:15 game, big giveaway, so you'll want to get here early. Get your tickets, TexasRangers.com. 972 Rangers. Again, that's Saturday, April 29th. Mazzaro 1 for 3. Again, they seem to be preoccupied with Gomez over at first base. And I mentioned that he may be running at some point. Gomez just a couple of years removed from the stretch where he stole 37, 40, 34 bases in consecutive years with the Brewers. 0-1 on Mazzaro. Didn't run nearly as much in his time with the Houston Astros last year and a portion of 2015, but he just struggled to get on base when he was in an Astros uniform. And now time granted by plate umpire Eric Cooper. It was one of the real highlights of last season, the way that Gomez rebounded from what was just a really tough experience for him in Houston. Rangers rescued him off the scrap heap and he performed real well.
He made no secret about wanting to stay here in the offseason. He signed a nice 1-year contract with the Rangers. Said he loved it here. Loved his teammates, loved his coaches, loved his manager, loved the fans, loved everything about it. Wanted to stay.
Oh, 2, and that one is served out to left field. Drops in, base hit. So Gomez to second. Mazzaro aboard. Maybe a chance for some big insurance runs in the 7th inning.
Pitch away, probably not a strike. Off the plate. Omar just lines it in left field. Makes solid contact with it.
It's got a 2-hit game for Nomar. Rangers cleanup man Elvis Andrus. Pretty remarkable today. Elvis in that cleanup spot, first time in his big league career. And now in 3 of the 4 at-bats he has gotten today, he's had a man in scoring position. Drove in a run in the 3rd inning. Struck out with men on 1st and 2nd in the 1st inning. Puts this ball very high in the air. Bonifacio started back but has to come in. 2 away. Just missed. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Go to MLB.TV for details. Odor 0 for 3. Ryder gets him to foul off. Strike 1. Now Rugi, his 3 home runs you see at the bottom of your screen, those came in the first 4 games of the season. He has not had a home run in the last 14, now 15 games since then. Chance to do some damage in the 7th inning, though. And a whole 0-2. Odor signed that big 6-year deal right before the season began. We're at the end of spring training. And just before opening day, 6-year deal with a club option for 2023. The youngest Ranger ever at 23 years old to receive a contract of 6 or more years. Just to give you an idea what the Rangers think of Rugi. And it's pretty obvious that as this team transitions in future years, Elvis Andrus, you know, he'll kind of be the next leader in the clubhouse. Ruben Odor will be right on his heels as the guy that no doubt will be the leader in that clubhouse.
Yeah, and obviously the plan is to continue to develop young players. Rugi, Nomar, even Elvis, even though he's a veteran, is still a pretty young player. Hopefully Joey Gallo turns into a cornerstone of the franchise. And that is the way you stay successful over time, is you have to blend veteran players and constantly introduce young players to the lineup, into the rotation, into the bullpen, so that you have a succession plan, so that you have youth balanced with veterans. The teams that keep trying to win at all costs with veteran players eventually have to start over again. The Rangers have a plan where they want to continue to stay strong every year, and to do that you have to have a farm system that develops young players.
Odor chases strike 3 in the dirt, and that will end the 7th inning. A couple of singles, but nothing doing. We'll go to the 8th. 4-2 Texas. Still in there. Comes out for an 8. And we remind you that April 25th will be your next chance to take advantage of Fox Sports Southwest $10 Tuesday tickets. Yeah, Twins and Rangers. Tickets just $10. You can add a $10 meal when purchasing online. Go to TexasRangers.com/specials. Get those $10 Tuesday tickets for April 25th. Make sure you use that coupon code FSSW10.
This is a point in the game where sometimes the starting pitcher comes out, but in Darvish's case, he hasn't thrown the ball any better in this game than he has in the last few innings.
It's his 100th pitch of the day to Butera. 9th place hitter, and then back up to the top of the order.
And in his first 4 starts, he's thrown 98, 97, 103, and 82 pitches. So he's strong. He feels great today. Why not? Stay out there and keep firing those strikes.
Gets the fly ball to center field. 1 out in the 8th.
We talked a little bit earlier about coming into the game. You had walked 12 in 24 innings. The leadoff walk in the 6th inning in Oakland really hurt. Only 1 walk today, and that was a 2-out walk to Alcides Escobar, probably the most unlikely guy in the lineup to walk. But since that walk, there's been no walks, been a couple of singles, bunch of strikeouts, and a lot of quality pitches. Velocity has been higher toward the end of the game than it was at the beginning. And you can tell he was feeling good about it.
Well, dumps one right in there for a strike to Whit Merrifield, the leadoff man, who has hit 3 balls to the left side of the infield today. Gallo's made the play every time. The last one, well, was turned a line out, but it was a soft little flare. And an interesting play made by Gallo to get him. But in a hole here, 0-2. Darvish has retired 13 of the last 14 batters he has faced. The one guy he did not get was Hosmer, and then he erased him immediately on a double play. He has been locked in since the end of the 3rd inning. Just misses. Well, this is his deepest outing of the year in terms of innings. And now most pitches he has thrown in a game this year as well. 2-2. Talking about that last at bat for Merrifield. What do you call this?
I call it your hands hurt when you get done hitting that thing. 33 feet. Joey Gallo went as far as the ball did, and it wasn't even a pop-up. You can't throw a ball underhand any slower than that.
Count stays 2-2.
You could just see when you saw the replay, the pitch started out somewhere around the inside corner, and then that boring action just brought it in, who knows, 4 or 6 more inches. And what looked like a good idea to swing at that pitch turned out really bad. You almost hope you swing and miss at it so you don't make any contact on that. Or just nick it to where you foul it off.
Merrifield battling in this 8th inning with Darvish. It worked just a touch. Keeps the count 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's a full count. Mike Moustakas waits in the on-deck circle as Darvish approaches 110 pitches today. Fans trying to help him there. The 3-2. Got him looking.
Run the count to 3-2. You want to throw a strike? Hitter's got to be looking for a fastball right there. Instead, you break in the breaking ball right down the middle of the plate, and the hitter is paralyzed. Nice slider for strike 3. It's tough to hit 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Eight strikeouts now for Darvish. And he'll get to face Mike Moustakas, who homered off him in the 3rd. Went just wide of the plate. Darvish going for his first full season since 2013. With Tommy John surgery and rehab since then is truncated the last couple of years. His 1-0 is on the corner. Longest outing since coming back from Tommy John, fully healthy this year. Last year made 17 starts when returning to the ball club. And the feeling was coming into this year that it's all systems go. Last year pitched really well. In fact, in the second half of the season was among the top 10 in the league in just about every category. Swing and a miss at strike 2.
At 96 miles an hour on pitch number 112. Which gives you a pretty good indication how good Liu's feeling today.
Well, this would likely be it. Looking for strikeout number 9. But instead, it's a ground ball to the right side. Odor handles it. And it's a perfect 8th inning for you, Darvish. And the fans love it. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keep calm to learn more. Bottom of the 8th inning, 4-2. Rangers leading. And Ryan Rua will start things off against Chris Young, new pitcher in the ball game, the 5th of the day for Kansas City. And the big right-hander starts us off with strike 1. We saw Young 2 days ago. I guess that would have been Friday night. He pitched a couple of innings in relief. One to Rua, fouled off. Well, one of those days today where the Royals had to get into that bullpen a little earlier than they had hoped. Jason Hamill pitched 3+ innings. He did not get an out in the 4th. And so the bullpen has had to carry the load since then. And Rua chases strike 3. A strikeout begins the bottom of the 8th inning.
The third baseman, Joey Gallo.
Last at bat for Gallo. Swinging at the first pitch this time. And a pop-up back of second base. Well, that was starting to drift a little bit. And Escobar able to get back on it. 2 out. And Escobar going to take a look on the big screen. That was one of those. He started to go back there and looked like he had it pretty well measured up.
At the side of the field, he's not as accustomed to going back for a pop-up on. The flags are blowing out a little bit toward the outfield. Generally, they blow in. But when a ball is hit that high and they're blowing out, that will cause it to drift a little bit deeper.
What happened here? Chirinos now getting a little pine tar, something extra. So bat sneak up on him a little bit. Got up there and watched the pitch and said, well, hang on a second. I knew I was forgetting something. Hits this ball a mile to left field, and that one is gone. Wow. Robinson Chirinos. What a series. 4th of the year for Chirinos, his 3rd in this series.
Four home runs for Robinson. He's only had 18 at bats. He's walked. He was hit by a pitch in this game and a home run. 4 home runs, 9 runs batted in, and he's only played in 7 games. That ball's jumping off his bat when he hits it. A lot of good swings by Robinson. So he hit the 2 home runs. Didn't play last night. Comes back and plays today. Day game after a night game. Hits another home run. Good thing he put that extra pine tar on it, Dave. Needed a little bit better grip, and it paid off.
Yeah, see, sometimes we wonder what they're doing. There's a method there. How about that kid? Chirinos had a big day, but that kid, he just had a day.
I've been coming to games since your age, and that's the first ball I've ever gotten. Robinson Chirinos became his favorite player.
A day he will never forget. Man.
And he's not quite as happy as the little boy that got the tickets to the Cubs game that we talked about the other day, but he's pretty happy.
2-1 to Profar, who is single today. He's also walked in a run. Walked with the bases loaded in the 4th inning. 1 for 2. And hits this ball right to Merrifield, and that will end the inning. But Rangers add an insurance run in the 8th inning. Robinson Chirinos, and he is the big man in this series against Kansas City.
from making it a perfect weekend for the Rangers. Top of the ninth coming up as they have a 5-2 lead. Dana Larson here reminding you we'll have Rangers Eye presented by Frontier Communications coming up right after the game. Join me and Mark McLemore. No shortage of things to talk about as the Rangers have made the most of this series here at home against the Kansas City Royals. We'll have tons of reaction from the clubhouse, from the manager, and boy, Darvish Day was an impressive one. Dave and Tom, we're going to talk a lot about it. Looking forward to that as well as hearing from you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. There's indeed plenty to talk about from today's game, as well as this entire series, as Jorge Bonifacio leads things off here against Matt Bush.
Well, Matt Bush getting an opportunity to be the closer for the time being. His job to run with came in last night, not to a save situation, came into a tie game, pitched a scoreless ninth and got the win when Elvis drove in the run in the bottom of the ninth. First save opportunity right here.
Now, Rangers with just one save to this point of the season, and I bet if you polled everybody here today, 37,000 plus here today, about 8 people might be able to guess
who's got
who
it.
had it. Yeah. Jose Leclerc picked that one up on the last road trip, but now Bush with a more traditional save opportunity here, and he's jumped ahead of Bonifacio, 1-2. It's the second big league start for Bonifacio, but a memorable day for him, and he swings and lifts this ball high in the air, heading down that right field line, and room for Mazzaro. How about today for you, Darvish?
Boy, we're going to show a smorgasbord of quality pitches. At the end of the game, his fastball was 94 to 96. Finished so strong, and what an assortment of off-speed pitches. Sliders, a slow curveball, a hard curveball, cut fastballs, you name it, he threw it today, and everything was working. Threw somewhere around 70% of his pitches for strikes, and he's got a happy pitching coach in Doug Brocail, and he walked off the mound. Has to feel great about that start. He wasn't pleased with the way the start in Oakland ended up after 5 strong innings. He struggled in the 6th. But he came out today, and after a little bit of a shaky 3rd inning when he gave up the back-to-back home runs, he finished with his best stuff, best fastball, and a great assortment of strikes throughout the last 5 innings of that ball game. And when you said, Dave, earlier that he has a chance to go 7, and who knows, maybe 8.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking he had a chance to go 8 at that point in time, but boy, he sucked it up and finished strong.
I'm with you. I thought I was pushing my luck a little bit saying that, but
I think he pushed. I think he told Doug and Banny that he felt great and wanted to go back out there for the 8th, and they're more than happy to let one of their co-aces go back out there for the 8th inning if they want to. That's 1 inning the bullpen doesn't have to work.
I can get a little carried away every now and then too. Yeah, sometimes just get swept up in
Nothing
the
wrong
moment.
with that. You get excited at a ball game.
2-1, and Hosmer fouls it off. Count is 2-2. So 1 out. Nobody on, 9th inning. They have been close games all the way through. Rangers have taken the first 3, and this is, I mean, look, 4-game series. They're tough to win, let alone Rangers with a chance to do something even bigger today, as it's a full count on Hosmer. Sweeping a 4-game series is one of those things you almost don't even let yourself fantasize about prior to the series beginning, because that's just kooky talk. The Rangers are a couple outs away from pulling it off. Battle here with Hosmer, though, making Bush work a little bit. 3-2, and he gets Hosmer swinging. A strikeout, second out of the inning.
Back-to-back days for Matt Bush, and back-to-back days where he's featuring a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And there's a good look at what the hitter's seeing. Swung underneath it a little bit. I could have been a pretty good hitter if I viewed the ball coming in that slowly. If that's what it looked like, instead of 98 miles an hour, I think I could have hit. Would have been just like batting practice. Every time I took batting practice, Gaylord Perry used to scream, "What time is it?" Meaning, you hit a lot of home runs at 5:30. Why don't you wait till 7 to hit them?
How funny you mix that about Gaylord. He was a demanding teammate. Is that a fair way to say it?
He was demanding. He used to get on Mike every time Mike Hargrove made an error when he was pitching. He jumped all over him, boy. Yeah, he was intense on the days he pitched. On the days he didn't pitch, he wasn't quite as intense.
2 out. The 0-2 from Bush. Lifted high in the air. Long run for Gomez. And this one is over. The Rangers sweep a 4-game series from Kansas City. Now Robbie Chirinos with a big home run at the end to add some insurance. Joey Gallo does it again at the plate. And how about this? Rangers sweeping the Royals, second consecutive 4-game sweep of Kansas City. First for the Rangers since 1978.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to sweep anybody in a 3-game series, but to have back-to-back series, both be 4-game series, and to sweep them both against a good team, that's pretty remarkable.
Very, very difficult to do. The Rangers playing some great baseball here at home. Now 9-10 on the year. Still so much more coming. Dana Larson and Mark McLemore standing by. We're going to break down Joey Gallo's big day. We'll be back here to talk about the afternoon for Yu Darvish, where he pushed himself to go a little bit deeper today. 8 innings to pick up his second win of the year. There's Matt Bush with his first save, and so much more to break down from today's game. First, we send it back down to the field. Emily Jones standing by with our guest.
Hey guys, Joey Gallo here. Joey, you told us before or after Game 2 of this series, you and Justin Mayshore had a conversation about just being you. It seems like those words have resonated, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, you know, my first few at bats, you know, yesterday, today, you know, I didn't feel good, but I just kept with the plan and the approach, and you know, just try to get a pitch in the zone and do what I do.
Okay, quick break. At least it's warmer today.
Yeah. A little bit warmer.
A little bit warmer. You've always said that you're most comfortable at third base. That's your most comfortable position. You seem to be fitting in quite nicely with the regular time. Do you feel as good as it seems out there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you get to play every day, especially at third base. You kind of get those reps, and you know, obviously having Beltre just on the bench and behind me in BP every day, helping me out. He's helped me a lot too. So definitely, I feel much better over there than I did before.
When Darvish is having a game like he was having tonight, how much fun is it to play defense behind him?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Darvish was going to be doing this interview, honestly, but you know, he was unbelievable today. When he's on, you know, he's almost unhittable. But you know, we knew all we had to do was get a few runs for him, and he was going to shut the door, and that's what we did.
One more thing, Joey. It's not easy to sweep a team in a 3-game series, much less a 4-game series. How good are you guys feeling back at home, getting something going?
Yeah, you know, it's awesome to come home and win in front of the crowd. You know, that first game, like we said, on the walk-off win, that's huge, and that momentum carries. So I think that had a lot to do with it as well.
Joey, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. We'll send it back now to you guys.
All right, thanks, Emily. Another big day for Joey Gallo. The 5-2 win. Rangers sweep the 4-game series from Kansas City. For Tom Grieve, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, this is Dave Raymond telling you to stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming up.